Nah, get mad. Get up. Go ahead. Alright, give my fucking ass.
Damn, actually? Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't know that was bad. My bad, Brad. Like, actually. No, actually.
Bradley Martyn went from being one of the most respected fitness creators online to becoming a full-blown internet joke, and the numbers prove it. In just 5 months, his channel hasn't gained a single new subscriber. In fact, he's lost around 10,000. That kind of drop doesn't happen out of nowhere. Something definitely went wrong, and most people agree it all started with one wild moment. It began when Bradley seriously claimed he could take on professional fighter Nate Diaz in a real street fight, and that statement instantly flipped the internet upside down. People didn't just disagree, they burst out laughing. The whole idea that muscle size automatically equals skill became the punchline. Bradley doubled down, insisting his 260-pound frame made him unbeatable, and that attitude quickly turned him into a walking meme. Even his own MMA coach tried to warn him, reminding him that being big doesn't replace real technique. But Bradley wouldn't back down, sticking to that same mindset like it was his ultimate defense. The internet wasn't having it. One Reddit post said it best. He brings up his weight in every conversation like it's his whole identity. Fans started to say it didn't look like confidence anymore.
I'm calling in regards to your tweet on July 27th, where you said, and speaking about clicks and views, all that, come to my gym, no cameras, no content, we can just fight in front of zoo culture.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I'm gonna come by, and we can do this once and for all.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Street thing? Do you wanna grapple? Do you wanna do MMA fight? You wanna box?
I thought we were just talking about fighting in the street.
That's cool too.
A street California.
That's totally cool too. A good old fashioned California.
It looked like pure ego disguised as self-belief. All through 2023, Bradley invited 6 professional fighters onto his podcast, and every single time, he brought up the same thing: street fights. Every time a fighter laughed off his street fight talk or tried to correct him, Bradley's response stayed exactly the same. He kept circling back to his size as his secret weapon. What he didn't seem to respect was the power of skill, timing, and real experience. That weakness became crystal clear when people started comparing him to fighters like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, a 125-pound legend who's taken down much bigger opponents using pure technique and discipline. That comparison completely shattered Bradley's argument and turned his tough guy confidence into fresh fuel for endless online jokes. But even after all that, Bradley still couldn't accept that someone half his size could ever beat him. In his head, weight was everything. The great equalizer. Nothing could convince him otherwise.
Bradley.
Yep.
I think you're getting lame. I think you're getting lame as a person or a person who's either searching for clicks.
Start those beefs.
Nah, because bro, look, I see what he's doing, but I just think it's weird. Like, we had Nate Diaz, who my brother's fighting on August 5th on his podcast.
Yeah.
And like in the same sentence, he's like, yeah, I'm cool with Jake. I like Jake. I just hope you beat his ass. I just want to see him get his ass. I want to see him get turned into a meme. Why, Bradley?
What really set social media on fire, though, was a single comment buried under one of those fight clips. It linked to an old video that Bradley himself had uploaded years ago, showing him getting totally outclassed during a jiu-jitsu session. That clip spread like wildfire, and suddenly, his confident persona didn't match the footage everyone was watching. From there, the cracks started showing fast. Viewers began to notice how often his insecurities slipped out on camera. And instead of laughing it off or moving on, Bradley doubled down. He began squaring up to influencers smaller than him, almost like he was chasing back the respect he felt slipping away. One of the most talked about moments came during his clash with Steve Will Do It. Some said that one was harmless since Steve was clearly trolling. But when Bradley and Bryce Hall decided to wrestle at his gym, things hit a different tone. It didn't look playful anymore. Even after Bryce was clearly finished, Bradley just wouldn't back off. The way he kept pushing the intensity said it all. It didn't feel like entertainment anymore. It felt like he was desperate to prove something. That same energy popped up again on September 1st, 2023.
You think you beat me in a street fight?
Huh?
You think you beat me in a street fight?
You in a street fight?
Yeah.
You're a podcaster, brother.
I love it.
MMA coach Antonio McKee, you gotta look him up. This month is like probably, he used to fight at probably like 145, 150. He's stronger than me. I guarantee he's stronger than you.
No.
I bet, bring your people, I guarantee.
How much he weigh?
How much I weigh?
How much does he weigh?
He wouldn't be over 160.
Damn, I'm too sick.
When Bradley appeared on a podcast with Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, things started casual. But then a small disagreement between Bradley and Brian, who was 54 at the time, quickly turned awkward. The key detail? Brian was the only one there with no combat sports background. After the show, the tension spilled over. Brian politely asked Bradley not to grab his neck, but Bradley did it anyway, then brushed it off, saying he wasn't going hard. That moment said everything. Whenever Bradley feels challenged, he shifts straight into tough guy mode, getting physical and trying to intimidate instead of just talking it out. And when someone keeps dodging real reality checks, they don't slow down. They push harder until something finally snaps. That's exactly what seemed to happen when streamer Stable Ronaldo ended up caught in Bradley's latest viral controversy.
With the guys like that, they're going to get to your ankles so fast, you're not going to have time to pick them up. And then all they do is deal with big guys, so they know how to put you in a position where you don't have leverage to pick them up.
125 pounds, though? That's so
to me,
light.
I know.
I can lift it up with one hand.
I know. I'm telling you, he's going to get your back,
throw that.
he's going to get your neck, he's going to get your ankles.
On June 7th, Ronaldo and FaZe Lacey were live streaming from Bradley's gym. Everything started lighthearted, just jokes and gym banter, until Ronaldo playfully grabbed Bradley's hat. It was clearly a joke, but within seconds, the entire vibe flipped. What could have been solved with just a few words ended up turning physical. And that's when the public really started to turn on Bradley. One viewer summed it up perfectly, saying, "I get that it was disrespectful, but slapping someone over a hat is crazy. It was a moment that could have been handled so easily, yet it spiraled fast." But as bad as that clip looked, it wasn't even the worst situation tied to Bradley. What happened next with Sneeko made that whole hat drama look tame. Later in 2023, Bradley and Sneeko were training together at the gym and decided to spar. What started off as friendly competition escalated in seconds. During the session, Sneeko took a hard shot and went down. And afterward, he realized something was seriously off. One of his teeth was missing. Watching that clip back left a lot of people stunned. Now, neither Bradley nor Sneeko are exactly known for staying quiet online.
Fighting. Bradley Martyn on the podcast said he could beat Mighty Mouse. MMA fight, they're going to have a jiu-jitsu match.
Bradley Martyn has no chance.
Against 125
He has no
fighter.
chance. Not going to get choked out.
So
it's just going to take time.
But even Sneeko made a fair point afterward. The sparring didn't feel controlled or necessary. By then, the pattern was crystal clear. Bradley's confidence always skyrocketed when facing smaller guys. That confidence started to tip into pure overconfidence. And that shift played a major part in his downfall. Bradley kept repeating the same thing, that being 260 pounds made him unbeatable. But that logic started to crumble the second he faced someone closer to his own size. The internet caught it right away. One viral comment summed it up. So you'll slap Ronaldo for grabbing your hat, but when someone bigger steps up, it's suddenly a whole different story. By the end of 2023, Bradley Martyn's image had gone through a complete transformation, and not in the way he expected. What used to be seen as raw strength and confidence had started to look more like ego mixed with insecurity. The once loved gym influencer had turned into a walking controversy magnet, and every new video seemed to dig the hole a little deeper. Fans who followed him for years began to notice something was off. His older clips showed a guy who cared about fitness, self-improvement, and motivation. But the newer ones, they felt aggressive, defensive, and overly obsessed with proving dominance. Every interaction, whether it was on his podcast, in a vlog, or at the gym, seemed to revolve around confrontation. And the sad part was, people stopped watching for fitness tips and started watching to see what he'd do next. The shift wasn't subtle either. His comment sections turned into a running joke.
Survive! You got this! Survive! All the time. 1 second. Go!
People started calling him the heavyweight philosopher, or Captain 260, mocking how he brought up his size in nearly every discussion. Memes spread like wildfire, especially after the clips of him losing his temper or crossing lines during playful moments with guests. The more he tried to act unbothered, the more obvious it became that he was bothered by everything. Even his friends started pulling back. Influencers who once collaborated with him started staying quiet. They didn't want to be part of the growing drama, and fans noticed that too. It felt like Bradley had built a wall around himself, one made of pride, frustration, and denial. Instead of listening to criticism, he brushed it off as hate. But the internet doesn't forget, and every viral clip added another dent to his credibility. The real turning point came during a podcast episode early in 2024. Bradley was talking about how nobody could handle him in a street fight, and one of his guests, a professional MMA fighter, decided to test that theory on the spot. It wasn't even an actual fight, just a friendly demonstration of grappling technique. Within seconds, Bradley was on the ground, completely overpowered. The entire exchange was caught on camera, and the clip exploded online within hours. Viewers couldn't stop replaying it. Some said it was funny, others said it was karma. Either way, the message was clear. All the talk about size and strength didn't hold up against real skill. That single moment destroyed what little was left of Bradley's unbeatable image. Even loyal fans admitted it was hard to defend him after that. The clip wasn't staged, and it wasn't edited. It was raw reality, and it spread fast across TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube. After that, Bradley's responses became even more defensive. Instead of acknowledging what happened, he blamed editing, context, and online haters. He claimed people were twisting the story, but the footage spoke for itself. Every attempt to control the narrative only made things worse. The internet had already decided the storyline. Bradley Martyn, the self-proclaimed toughest guy on YouTube, had been humbled on his own show. And yet, despite all the backlash, he kept going. That's what confused people most. Instead of stepping back to reflect, Bradley leaned into the chaos. He started posting clips of himself lifting heavier than ever, calling out fighters, and flexing in thumbnails like he was doubling down on his brand. Some fans thought it was resilience, others thought it was pure denial. But either way, it became clear that controversy was now his main content strategy. That move might have kept his name in circulation, but it didn't bring back respect. Sponsors grew distant, podcast guests became harder to book, and fans could see that the energy around him had shifted. The same audience that once admired his grind now tuned in for entertainment, not inspiration. And that's when a deeper conversation started online about how easily influence can flip into infamy. The irony is that Bradley once preached discipline and mindset. He used to say things like, control your emotions, and don't let ego run your life. But now, people were replaying his own words with captions mocking him, comparing the old Bradley to the new Bradley. It was almost tragic to watch how quickly the fitness mentor turned into a meme. Some online creators tried to defend him, saying everyone makes mistakes and that people were being too harsh. But others pointed out that this wasn't a single mistake. It was a pattern that kept repeating. From trying to intimidate guests, to sparring with smaller influencers, to refusing to admit fault, the cycle kept going. And every time he brushed off criticism, it pushed him further away from the person fans once respected. Things hit another low point when clips began surfacing of Bradley getting frustrated on camera, not just with guests, but with fans at his gym. One viral moment showed him snapping at someone for filming a joke video in the background. The clip quickly spread, and people said he looked on edge, like he was constantly ready for confrontation. It became a running theme: Bradley versus the world. Yet beneath all the noise, there's a layer of sympathy too. Some fans still believe that what we're seeing is someone under pressure, trying to maintain relevance in an industry that moves fast and forgets even faster. The fitness world used to love him, but fame doesn't last forever. As newer creators rise, the older ones often struggle to keep their spotlight without reinventing themselves. Maybe that's what Bradley was really fighting. Not opponents, but time. By early 2024, analysts of online culture started pointing out something deeper. Bradley's story wasn't just about ego or fights. It was a perfect example of how internet fame can twist ambition. When the line between confidence and arrogance blurs, everything becomes content, even your own downfall. Bradley built a brand on being larger than life, but the internet loves nothing more than watching the invincible get humbled. Today, he's still posting, still training, still trying to prove himself, but the tone has changed. You can see it in his eyes, a mix of frustration and defiance. He's not just battling critics anymore. He's battling the image they've built for him. Maybe that's the final lesson in all of this. No matter how strong you are physically, the internet always hits harder. Things only went downhill from there. Around the time Jake Paul and Nate Diaz were gearing up for their big fight, Nate showed up on Bradley's podcast, and instead of keeping things cool and respectful, Bradley doubled down on the same tough talk that had already wrecked his image. He kept challenging, boasting, and trying to flex dominance, even in front of a guy like Nate Diaz. Jake Paul even joked that he couldn't wait to see Bradley become a meme. And honestly, that prediction came true faster than anyone expected. Even Logan Paul, who's never exactly been known as the calm or quiet one, couldn't ignore it this time. Bradley clearly underestimated who he was dealing with. Logan isn't some rookie. He's got real fighting experience, legit skills, and he's not that much smaller than Bradley either. But Bradley, caught up in his own hype, decided to take things a step further. On July 27th, he made a move that had everyone shaking their heads. He actually called Logan out for a fight right outside his own gym. Cameras were rolling, fans were filming, and to everyone's shock, Logan accepted. Moments later, the internet exploded with photos showing the aftermath. Bradley's face looked beaten up while Logan stood there mostly untouched. That image alone sealed the story. Bradley Martyn, the self-proclaimed powerhouse, had finally been humbled in front of millions. From that point on, it didn't even matter if Bradley was trolling for views or genuinely believed his own hype. The damage was done. The internet had made up its mind. Bradley wasn't seen as the strong, fearless influencer anymore. He became a meme, a symbol of what happens when confidence crosses over into pure delusion. His clips now live in that strange space between comedy and chaos, where no one's sure if he's being serious or just trying to survive the joke that his brand has become. But here's the wild part. Even through all the humiliation, the man keeps posting, keeps talking, keeps showing up. Maybe he's too deep in to stop, or maybe he's hoping that leaning into the chaos will somehow save him. Either way, it's clear now that Bradley Martyn's story isn't just about strength. It's about pride, downfall, and the power of the internet to turn anyone into a punchline overnight. So what do you think? Did Bradley bring this on himself, or did the internet go too far? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories. Share this video with a friend, and I'll see you on the next one.